Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And here you see Berwick Souvenir Program. Game played at Crispin Field between the Berwick High School Bulldogs and the visiting Mount Carmel Joint High School Red Tornadoes. Crispin Memorial Field on Saturday, October 4th, 1958. And the starting lineup for the Red Tornadoes of Mount Carmel area, the visitors. At left end, number 13, Jim Trioni. Left tackle, number 62, Jerry Sicily, or 69, Rockwell. Left guard, number 40, Rich Morris. The center, number 66, Jack Slaughterback, or 63, Whistle. Right guard, number 31, Bob Royer. Right tackle, number 87, Roger Williams. Right end, number 29, Francie Menapace. At quarterback tonight, the quarterback, 36, Jim Bierschmidt. Left halfback, number 38, Jim Garrett. The right halfback, number 45, Fred Hynoski. At fullback, either number 47, Bruce Habowski, or number 12, Steve Bolick. And the rest of the Red Tornado lineup. And now for Berwick, starting at quarterback, number 23, Ron Rose. At halfback, left halfback, number 31, George Koss. At left end, number 33, Paul Heath. Left tackle, number 36, Larry Samsel. Right halfback, number 39, Alan McNish. At right tackle, number 69, Ted Roll. At right end, number 47, Bill Huntington. At fullback, number 55, Stan Biter. At center, 63, Joe DeMelfi. Left guard, 64, Paul Banks. Right guard, 68, Dave Devan. And at end, number 81, Kurt Pressley. The head coach, Bob Davenport. Assistant coaches, Donald Peterson, Ted Roll, and Len Brodsky. To start the second quarter, Berwick punts. Punt goes out of bounds on the 20. Mount Carmel first and 10. Hynoski goes for 19 yards to the 39 at first down. First and 10, Hynoski gets 2. Mount Carmel second and 8. Garrett on a pitch out goes for 11 to the Berwick 48. Mount Carmel first and 10. Hynoski picks up 3 at the middle. Second and 7. Hynoski on a pitch to the 35 for a first down. First and 10. Mount Carmel is penalized to the 45. First and 15. A pitch to Garrett, who takes it to the 39. On second and 9, Biersmith's jump pass is good to Jim Trioni to the 28. First and 10, Biersmith's jump pass was incomplete. Second and 10, Biersmith back to pass, and the pass is broken up. We pick up further action now with Berwick at the 28, quarterback at the yard. Second and 9, quarterback Rose gets 3. Third and 6, kick is partially blocked and taken at the 38. Hynoski now goes to the 30 for 8 yards. Second and 2, Biersmith gets to the 20 and a first down. And on first and 10, the left halfback loses 2 yards. Second and 12, Biersmith's pass is intercepted inside the 5-yard line. Berwick first and 10 at the 3. Bishop, no gain. Second and 10. Jump pass falls incomplete. Rose steps back, but steps out of the end zone line for a safety. Then Rose kickoff from the 20 goes out of bounds, placed on 40. First and 10. Hynoski up the middle to the 35. Second and 5. Hynoski again, this time to the 26 with a nice block by Menapace. First and 10, Garrett gets 1. Second and 9, Hynoski gain. Third and 9, Biersmith back to pass, and pass falls incomplete. Fourth and 9, Biersmith once again back to pass, into the end zone. And tonight's halftime entertainment at the Berwick game is provided by the Mount Carmel High School Band, the cheerleaders, and majorettes. Cheerleaders were Ruth Beyerschmidt, Carol Boyle, Louise Breslin, Sandra Falke, Pat Warna, Roseanne Karlovich, Kathy Lucas, Ada Marquette, Beverly Maurer, Virginia Petrevich. And the majorettes, Anne-Marie Chesney, Joanne Diak, Vivian McCoy, Marianne Heroman, and Carol Kramer. Berwick's kickoff to start the second half by Paul Banks is returned by number 38, Jim Darrops, for 31 yards to the Berwick 40. First and 10, number 45, Fred Hynoski gets 6 to the 34. On second and 4, Hynoski goes 34 yards on a dive play for the Mount Carmel touchdown. There's a penalty on the extra point run. And on the retry, a pass falls incomplete. Sicily kicks off to the 25, returned and fumbled in the air, but Berwick gets it to the 31. First and 10, Koss picks up 1. On second and 9, Minknich gets 4 to the 36. Third and 5, Rose pitches to Koss for a first down. First and 10, fullback Koss goes 58 yards for Berwick's only touchdown of the night. The extra point placement by Roll is wide right. Roll's kickoff is returned 31 yards to the Berwick 49. Mount Carmel first and 10, Hynoski over left tackle for 6. Mount Carmel second and 4 at the 43. Hynoski gets 5 and a first down. First and 10 at the 38. Hynoski picks up 2. Second and 8 at the 36. Hynoski up the middle to the 27. A gain of first and a 9 and a first down. First and 10, number 47. Habowski gets to the 25. Second and 8, Beyerschmidt on a keeper, following a seal block by number 87, Roger Williams, and great downfield blocking. First and 10, Hynoski carries to the 6-yard line. First and 10, Hynoski carries to the 6-yard line. And then on second and 6, Hynoski goes into the end zone for the Mount Carmel touchdown. The extra point try is stuffed. Sicily's kickoff, there is no return down on the 33-yard line. Berwick first and 10, halfback 31, Koss, no gain. Second and 10, Rose on a keeper, gets 4. Third and 6, quarterback Rose's pass is intercepted. 62, Sicily on the tackle. First and 10, Koss on dive gets 2. Second and 10, Berwick gets 2, tackled by number 40, Morris. And third down, number 55, Stan Biter gets 2. On fourth down, Biter carries. Pick up further action in the third quarter as Berwick gets 4. From the 42, Berwick fumbles but recovers at their 38. A penalty against Berwick is declined. Mount Carmel will take over. First and 10, Habowski on the carry, loses 4. Beyerschmidt fumbles but recovers for a loss of 3. And now Beyerschmidt back to pass to Francis Benepace, good for 67 yards, the longest touchdown of the night. The extra point is good with Bullock on a run to end the third quarter. To start the fourth quarter, Sicily's kickoff is taken on the 12 and returned to the 27, tackled by Morris. First and 10, quarterback Rose is held to no gain. And on second and 10, Burtz recovers his own fumble. 3rd and 10, a pitch out to the left half, no gain. 4th and 10, Berwick's punt by Roll is taken by Bolick at the 25 and returned to the 40. Mount Carmel 1st and 10, Hynoski loses one. On 2nd and 11, Byersmith's jump pass is completed to Charlie Greco at the 46. 3rd and 4, Byersmith's pass falls incomplete. And on 4th and 4, the Red Tornadoes' punt is returned by Bill Huntington from the 26. Quarterback Sabatini, now back to pass, is sacked by the Red Tornadoes' right tackle. 4th down and 39, punt taken by Bolick, and he returns from the 25 up to the 40-yard line. A fight now breaks out, and the Berwick band plays the Stars Spangled Banner. Mount Carmel 1st and 10, Bolick loses 7 at left end. On 2nd and 17, Mount Carmel gets 2 of those back. 3rd and 15, Cotter's pass to number 39, Charlie Greco, is good for 65 yards and the second longest touchdown of the night for the Red Tornadoes. The extra point run by Ray Mazzella is short. And Mount Carmel's kickoff, there's no return, and this ends the film. To recap the remainder of the game that did not appear on film, in what little time was left following another kickoff and exchange of the ball, the Tornado shock troops banged out 2 more first downs on an 8-yard aerial, Cotter to George Michaelitis, coupled with a 3-yard advance by Mazzella and a 26-yard heave, Cotter to Bolick to Berwick's 30, where 2 additional passes were grounded, and a third was intercepted by John Horvat as the title and the end of the game. There were several outbreaks in the game. There was more than one flare-up as Mount Carmel High overwhelmed Berwick on its own gridiron. Besides an outbreak between players during the game with some fans rushing on the field, a fight also occurred afterward when a Berwick fan accosted members of the Red Tornadoes. The stadium got filled with people, and they turned the lights out to try to stop it. It only made it worse. Then later, a stone was thrown through the bus. In the melee at the end of the game, several members of the Naval Security Station in Washington, D.C., who were attending a wedding in Mount Carmel on that Saturday, went to the game to see Berwick and Mount Carmel play. The one petty officer, first-class communications technician Les Renninger of Burlington, Iowa, got a tooth knocked out at the end of the game by a Berwick fan. The final score in this 1958 Saturday night game at Berwick, Mount Carmel Joint High School Red Tornadoes 41, the Berwick High School Bulldogs 6. The following individuals volunteered their time and expertise in order to preserve the proud tradition of Mount Carmel Red Tornadoes football history.